when I was trying to buy a home, I have a very wise friend, and I asked him, okay, when do you think is the best time to buy? And he looked at me a little bit, paused for a few seconds, and said, you know when is the best time? Like, yes, yesterday.
Hey everybody, it's your friendly real estate agent, Melissa Hunter, and I have Dr. Bryan to talk with us about when it is the right time to buy. Everybody wants to know that these days. There's always such conflicting information going on. Just a few months back, the market was booming and there's multiple offers and everybody's buying. And now we're hearing that things are going to be different. So I thought that this would be a great topic. I'm only going to take 15 minutes of your time. Also, if you want to reach me to talk about this topic more, then you can reach me at 805-312-7627 or email me at melissa@waltersgrouprealestate.com. As you're aware, I am a part of the Walters Group and also EXP Realty.
I'm Brian Zadeh. I'm a branch manager here in Guaranteed Rate, and I have been in mortgage business for about a decade now. And if you have any questions regarding mortgage related options, numbers, you have scenarios you want to run by me, definitely reach out to me. My phone number is 805-626-0014. I'm always on the phone 24/7, literally 24/7. I answer texts sometimes if they come in the middle of the night. So um, this, Melissa, you're absolutely right. This is the question I'm getting all the time. Is it the right time to buy? Is it the right time to buy? And I just want to start with um, when I was trying to buy a home, I have a very wise friend, and I asked him, okay, when do you think is the best time to buy? And he looked at me a little bit, paused for a few seconds, and said, you know when is the best time? Like, yes, yesterday. Like, what? Yesterday? Yeah, you're already late. It doesn't matter when it is. You're already late. Buy it as soon as possible. And I'm like, okay, so that's great. But when the time passed and I'm in this business in real estate, I realized how true that is. Every day you don't insert yourself in this really great investment for your life. If it is your first time that you're buying a home, if it is your multiple properties, it doesn't matter. Um, I know you shouldn't necessarily buy crazy, but that's probably less than 3% of the time. 97% of the people, when buy in long run, they win.
Yes.
That's why it doesn't matter if the rates go up, if the rates go down. This is the course that we have seen it before many, many times. People who stay back, give you an example. In the beginning of pandemic, there was this notion that, oh, market is going to crash. Don't buy, take your money out. And we all know what happened. Houses duplicated in price. I mean, doubled their prices. So double in market value is a lot. So it's not like a $2 stock that became $4. No, it's a house that was $800,000. Now it's more than $1 million. So that is very important that we really use our wisdom, our affordability, everything we know just to enter the market if you can.
I really appreciate your answer though, because it's true. I mean, making the jump is a great thing. I mean, you get tax write off, you get some of that interest back. You're going to get equity. You're going to get the volatility of the market when you ride the cyclical cycle, and it's all about a cyclical cycle.
Mhm.
I mean, that's
Actually, comparing to renting, simple answer. All of the rent is going away. But when you're buying, a portion of your property, your payment goes towards the equity of your house. So you're actually paying it off as you go. That's a very simple, and when nowadays payments are close, very close.
Very close.
And just forget about all the things that you said. All of them are great, cherry on top. Just think about this part. You're throwing the money away for rent, but when you're buying, you're actually saving it in your home.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing what
Mhm.
real estate has done for not only individual people that have decided to make that move, but also for this entire country.
Mhm.
What real estate
Mhm.
has done for families and generations. It's amazing
Absolutely.
what kind of investment vehicle real estate really is, if you really think about it.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Now, I have another question for you, Brian. Now
Mhm.
that we understand why people buy and when is the right time to buy, so we already answered our question. We're only just 8 minutes in. We're not even 10 minutes in, and we're only going to take a little bit of time from people. But the second question is, what type of program are we seeing that's getting implemented to combat the rate hike? Yesterday, I looked at the inflation rate and it was over 8%. I also looked at the interest rate, and the 30-year fixed was at 6.3%. This is the highest that
Mhm.
we've seen in a lot of years. In all honesty,
Mhm.
I've seen it higher and
Mhm.
everything was fine and people were happily buying. But but I know that there were other programs that they were going after besides the 3-year fix. Brian, tell me about those programs.
Yes. First of all, I'm going to make it quick. First of all, 6.375 is a big number
Yes.
compared to 2 years ago. But if you are talking to a more experienced person that has been around the block a few times, they
Mm-hmm.
know that rates have been 7%, not too much, 10 years ago,
Yeah.
12 years ago. And if you talk to a person that has been around the block 20 years ago, they're talking about 13% interest
Yeah.
rate. So historically, it's not that big. It is compared to 2 years ago when it was 3% and 2% and
Yes.
4%. It's higher. But 4% to 6% is just 2% high. It's not huge. Does it make a difference in the purchasing of a home? Of course. What programs? How can we combat that situation? There are multiple ways. One of them is we are fixated on 30-year fixed loans.
Yes.
And this is what everybody does when rates are low. When the rates are high and there is a possibility that they go down, why do you want to fix yourself into a 7 interest rate? If you can get a hybrid, they call it ARM loans or hybrid ARM loans. Let's say 7-year fixed or 10-year fixed or 5-year fixed. You fix yourself for 7 years, and then after a few years, rates go down, you refinance yourself to a lower interest rate. That's the way to go. First, ARM loans. They have a lower interest rate compared to a 30-year fixed. Always longer the term, the rate goes up.
Yeah.
Shorter the term, rate goes down. So if you can take the risk of 7 years, saying, okay, within 7 years, I'm going to do something with this, take that risk. It's
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily bad. So we shouldn't completely wipe out a product. It's always good for somebody, not for everybody. But
Yes.
if you're getting a 10% 30-year fix, why do I want to have it for 30 years?
Yeah.
Average Americans keep their loans now between 3 and 4 years. They change their mortgage all the
And
time.
that's always been the case. When I follow up with my clients that are first time home buyers and they've been in the house for a couple of years, and I just
Mhm,
want to follow up to see if they want to consider upgrading to a bigger house or how are things going. They usually either say one of two things. They either say, I'll be ready in a year to sell the house and move into something else. Or
mhm,
they say, I'm refinancing to a lower rate and now my payment is a 1/4% less or something like that, and I'm happy as I can be. So there's two answers to
absolutely.
that question, and there's really only two. Most
Mhm,
people aren't staying and keeping their loan, for a number of years. Now, I do want to say that because the rate was so low on that 30-year fix these last couple of years, I would expect people to keep that loan for a much longer period of time. Expect it.
Very true.
But
Hmm.
on the other hand, they're still waiting to do home improvement projects. They're still you're trying to get that cash out to debt consolidate. There's so many reasons to refinance that you're still on the same you're still on the same spectrum scale. 2 to 5 years,
Hmm.
you're probably gonna do something.
Hmm. You're
Even
very
if it's
true.
late. Yeah.
Exactly. The second way to do combat this is, um, I'm sure you've heard about the term buy down. Buy
Yes.
down is when you're doing let's say a loan for, let's say 6%.
Hmm.
It's in the market, they call it points. You pay a
Yes.
point to purchase a lower interest rate. So if you really want to get a better interest rate, you pay a couple of points. That's a big chunk of money, but you know that's a price you pay to have a lower interest rate. Uh, there are numbers that you have to run and see if it makes sense how much you're going to save if you buy 1 point, half a point, 2 points. And that's where my job is, to speak with a client and tell them. The other way is temporary. That was permanent buy down. There is the temporary buy down, which you purchase a lower interest rate
Yes.
for a shorter time, 1 year, 2 year, and it goes back to the actual rate. So the lender says, okay, give me this money,
Yes.
I'll give you the lower interest rate for 1 or 2 years. And you tell to yourself, okay, this is a 30-year fix that is going to go to a 6%, but I pay this amount of money for the first 2 years so I can actually sort this thing out.
Yes.
Remember, if you don't know what you're doing, this could be a tricky loan.
Yes.
You have to always train yourself, educate yourself, talk to a professional
Mm.
that gives you all the sides.
Yes.
And then you figure out, oh, this is great for me because in 2 years I'm going to be moving out of this house, going this place to work there. So I'll buy down for 2 years, get a arm loan for 5 years to 7 years. If things didn't turn out right, then I
Yes.
have a really great plan. In 5 years or 6 years, I'm not even in this house after 7 years. Why do
So
you
are
want to
you
do a 30-year
so
fixed?
Brian, I have a quick question for you. Are you telling me that you can do a 7 year arm and buy it down with the 2 to 1 buy down?
Absolutely.
Oh my
Hmm.
goodness. Okay, so just to recap what you just said, the 7 year arm loan is at a lower percentage rate than the 6.3 that the 30-year fix is at.
Hmm.
Now, last time I checked, which was yesterday, the 5 year arm was at 4.85%, something like that.
Hmm.
So you take a 5 year loan that's fixed for 5 years, and
Hmm.
you get that loan for 4.85%. And then
Hmm.
you pay a point or two or whatever you're doing, and you
Hmm.
get to buy down that rate to an even lower rate from that 4.85%.
Hmm.
And
Absolutely.
that buy down will give you a temporary buy down for like around 2 years. And then you're still
You
going to
can
be at that
choose.
low rate for five.
Yes, you can choose 1 year, 2 year, 3 years,
Oh my
and
goodness.
they have different prices.
So, say for example, I paid 1 point on a 5 year arm at 4.85%, and that
Hmm.
would essentially give me maybe a 1% or 2% buy down.
It gives you on a 5-year arm, I believe 1 point gives you about half a percent, a little
Okay.
more than half a percent, maybe 0.625. And you can have it for 1 year. And there is a program that you can actually add another quarter of a point the second year and go to the final 4.875 in a third year. So gradually goes up. It doesn't go up all of a sudden, jump to that 6% or something. So all of these are options that people can choose the way their finances are.
Wonderful, wonderful. I just have one more question because we're heading into our 20 minutes.
Mhm.
What's your take on low rate and high price versus high rate and low price for buyers?
I think we have to kind of finish it on like these shows that they hang you on a last moment to give you the answer next time. This is a very, very important subject. If you ask me, and I'm sure you know the answer to this, you're a very, very smart person. Um, there's a saying in the mortgage, they say, marry the house, date the mortgage, date the loan.
Yes.
If you want to marry the house, go for the lower price. It doesn't matter what your rate is. The rates don't stay the same. They move around. They go up, you keep it. They go down, you refinance it. So it's a win-win situation in the case that you, in the market that you're buying in a lower price, which is what we are right now. It's not going
Mhm.
as crazy as it used to, and get a higher interest rate mortgage and then change it. You have to look at your affordability, not what the rate has a number. It's just a number. People are fixated, oh, it's 6%, so it must be high. If it is affordable to you, why do you care what that number is?
My takeaways from this conversation are that, the United States government is going to have to do something about inflation. That's something that needs to be addressed. But in the same token, they still need to give some sort of solution for people to be able to purchase homes and afford to live where they're living. So, all of this goes hand in hand. So I want to just reintroduce some confidence to you guys and let you know that mortgage wise, as long as you have a great lender, especially like Brian, in place that can give you the knowledge that you need to make the right decision, and then also a good real estate agent so that your realtor is going to tell you when it's time to just go for it and then the time to revisit some other things that you need to do before you head out there and start looking. Well, thank you so much, Brian, for getting on this video chat with me. I want to also thank my audience for taking the time to listen to us. And again, if you want to reach me and talk more about the real estate side of things, my number is 805-312-7627. Brian, why don't you hand off your number as well?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you, Melissa, for inviting me. My phone number is 805-626-0014. And I really thank you for the time that you've given me and the audience for listening to this. Please give us your questions. We'll be more than happy. I have a knack for hard questions. So